Yo, what's up? Just got to Balboa Park in San Diego. My main man Kevin here. I was about to make a video on the supposed miracle of accurate embryology in the Quran, but there are lots of different translations and lots of arguments. A lot of the arguments are completely inconsistent with each other. And so, here to ask Shaikh Usman if he can give us sort of his approved translations of these different terms and so on, and that way I'll know where to start. Sadly, when I show up to ask a question like, "Can you explain this passage?" It turns into a 2-hour-long argument. We have to cover a bunch of other stuff ahead of time, but we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe we'll get lucky and can be out of here in 10 or 15 minutes.
Then we always get that green. Oh, hey, Mr. Woods.
How you doing?
How you doing, man?
How's it going?
All right, good to see you back, man.
Hey.
So,
I don't want to interrupt.
No, I'd like to have you here. Why not?
Okay.
So, if you talk about the Sabbath, for example, being an obligation that it had to have been put on all of the don't waste time. We got durus, go online, go to Mentor Bad channel. We have a Mustalah al-Hadith dars, we have the Arabic language dars. Go to the Sira durus, we have them posted on OMF and there. Watch them, look at the evidences, look up the books. If you don't have the books, come to the masjid. We have libraries, we'll show them to you. I've always offered Dave, but he never comes, right? So, marhaban.
You tell me a good time to come. I'll come.
All right, we'll make some time. All right, Dave.
Hey,
Shaikh,
Shake,
how you doing? Good thing you came, man.
Shake, just wanted to say Salam came from North Carolina. So
Jazakallah khair. Great to see you, brother. MashaAllah. It's always good to see the brothers come out from far.
Okay, Dawood. I have like 20 more questions. Yeah, I know. Step by step.
I'm so glad you came today.
Okay.
In the back? No.
Very good question, Dawood. Very good.
Oh, yeah. And then the green tafsir. Oh, yeah. How was your trip?
How you doing? I'm good.
Good, man. Good. How you doing?
My favorite dawah booth
And your favorite sheikh, right?
and my favorite chick.
Even though I don't call myself a sheikh, but I appreciate the compliment.
You don't?
No,
That's like a
I'm
position.
just a student of knowledge, bro.
Student knowledge.
Student of talib al-ilm.
I can still call you Sheikh though, right?
You can if you like, man. But and I appreciate the compliment. And before we get into our fun discussions today, I just want to say I heard about your kids and I'm praying for them.
Oh, thank you.
May Allah, the one true Allah, bless your kids with full health and make everything easy for you.
Thank you.
Say Ameen. Say Ameen. All right. So, since you're here, I caught something interesting. You told me that Ibn Kathir says when in the ayah جعلنا من الماء كل شيء حي, right? Which is that we made from water every living thing, right? And you said Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma said that this is referring to the sperm of a man, right?
No, I quoted a site that said that. If
Right.
they're wrong,
So
then-
interesting. So
yeah,
that's
if I'm wrong, then
that's
they're wrong.
an excellent point. So this is the actual tafsir of Ibn Kathir under the actual ayah. Find me
Dar es-Salaam edition?
Dar es-Salaam it is. Yes. Dar es-Salaam is a publisher. You know, understand? Right? It's not a person, right? They publish hundreds and thousands of books, different
Yeah,
muhammad,
no, I was
right?
just saying that because I don't have the green edition.
Oh, this is a hardcover. 10 volumes, I think. I don't use English, but here,
No, I've got one also that's hardcover, but it's red. So, you know, that was all
Still Dar
completely
es-Salaam?
irrelevant.
all right. So this is the ayah, and I looked through the actual book, and I don't find Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu making that tafsir. So what that tells me is all these videos you're making at home in front of your camera, you're misquoting things, and poor people that are watching your videos are being misguided because you don't know enough to actually look up the book, right? I mean, unless you can look up the tafsir and show it to me here. Okay, you were looking up
I
a
wasn't
Shia.
quoting Ibn Kathir. I was quoting
you
Ibn
were.
Abbas.
Excellent.
If that's incorrect, you need to
Excellent.
take it up with the Muslim websites and say, hey, take this
That
is
was
incorrect.
Ahlul
If
Bayt
you
dot-
can show them that they're incorrect, I'm sure.
Excellent.
Unless you're saying they're liars, then they should
Sure.
take it down, and then we
So
stop
let
using
me
it.
explain this.
Okay.
What we're doing here is that you are going online to websites that you're assuming are by Muslims. You
But then
don't
I
know.
come here.
Exactly. So can you admit that Ibn Abbas did not make that tafsir and your accusation was false?
No.
Why not?
Well, I got.
You came
No, no, no,
here
no, no.
when I showed you the proof. You're not going to
No,
admit
no, no,
it.
no. If Shias are saying Ibn Abbas said this,
Sure.
and you're saying I don't have any preference one or the other. I know which side you're on.
Excellent.
So how would I
Excellent.
distinguish?
Sure, I will tell you.
All right.
Because that website, you don't know who made it. So you are going to a random Googled website, right? And I'm just saying Shia because the name, right? But whether Shia, Sunni, or whoever, people need to bring you the actual evidences. And if you aren't careful enough to check which website, right now you could Google whether the earth is flat or not, and some website's going to have some weird arguments. And if you're just going off of that, you are misguiding your viewers. You are giving them information that is actually incorrect, that is not found, right? And for
everything, everything. Until I have a reason not to trust someone, right?
Excellent.
Like I could
now-
quote this, I could quote this
Yes.
to someone,
Right.
and then someone else could come and say, actually, Darussalam misrepresented that, and
Excellent.
they distorted it, and it's a bad translation.
I got you.
And
So-
if we can't study Islam like this, then
The
then
difference,
it just can't be
is,
studied. You know
the
what I mean?
difference is, it's not an issue of translation. That quote does not exist in the
Hey,
tafsir of
contact
this
them. They'll
ayah.
take it down. I'll drop
Excellent.
it if I
But
want.
can you admit?
No, I
Why
don't,
not?
I don't know who to.
I
don't know
just
who to
showed
believe.
you evidence.
If a
I just
Shia,
showed you.
if
You-
a group of Shia scholars says one thing,
Listen,
a group of Sunni
listen,
scholars says
listen,
one
listen.
thing,
Which
I don't
group
know enough to
okay,
say, oh, the Shias are liars.
Excellent. But which Shia scholar said that?
They've got the.
You don't know.
They've
You
got
just
the
Googled
main
it.
tafsir site
You
that I'm
just
aware of.
Googled it. Who made that
No,
site?
I didn't. We didn't Google that. We use that site all the time. They've got Jalalain on there.
Who
They've
made
got
that site?
Ibn Abbas.
Who made that site? You don't know. You
Right.
see this? You see this?
There's no Google.
He's
That's
just
the site we
looking
use.
at. So,
That's
but
the
but
site
you're
we use.
using websites. You don't even know who made them. You don't know that. I'm showing you the actual book, and you told me I'm your favorite sheikh.
Look.
So now
You're
you gotta
showing- you're
listen to
showing
your
me a book,
favorite
right.
sheikh.
Suppose we go through here and the Arabic term, someone comes up to me and says, actually, they totally distorted this. I don't know Darussalam any more than I know
You see the
than
difference
the
is
Shias.
the difference is it's not about mistranslation. It's
No,
about
no.
the fact. It's
Someone,
about the fact
Darussalam
that
could make up anything they wanted.
Excellent.
How would I know until that's
I'm here
until
to
that's
help
somehow
you.
exposed?
I'm here to help you.
That's why I'm here.
Okay, so let me tell you. When I look up books, including Ibn Kathir, and I have a video on the best print and things, I actually look up the handwritten manuscripts, right? That have been verified and checked, right?
Yeah.
So when you don't know, for you to make videos sitting in front of your camera at home, making all these accusations, looking up websites that
I
you
didn't, I
don't
came
know,
here.
but before that, right? So I mean, you had many videos where you talk about these things, and you really have
Did
no
I
reference.
use that in the video?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. If we can go through and find that Ibn Abbas in no book that can be attributed authentically talks about that ayah in that way, will you at least admit that you made a false accusation if we can prove that?
Yeah, it'd be very simple. You can contact them, ask them where they're getting this. If they don't have it, if they don't have a place, they send you a message back saying, yeah, we screwed up. Then that's done.
And then David Wood will admit
Problem
that he
solved.
made a false accusation, and we're good.
I'll admit that I believed a Muslim website. Shame on me.
You don't know if they're Muslim. You don't know who made that website, so don't make assumptions.
Okay, so it's an atheist website giving the tafsir.
I don't know. So the issue is these websites, we don't know who made them. You don't know, and I don't know, and I shouldn't assume, and you shouldn't assume. I don't go online and find some website called ChristianSomething.com
That's true.
and
That's true.
assume.
That's true of everything here. I don't know who
That
made
is
this.
not.
I don't know who made this. I don't know who made this. I don't know who made this.
As I told
if
you.
someone shows me there's something wrong, then you can show me
As
there's
I
something
told
wrong.
you, for me, I bring you the actual book, right? I can bring you manuscript copies. I can bring you scans of the handwritten manuscripts. This is what I do. I do takhrij work. I do checking up those. I do tahqiq work. Farid Response, mashallah, he does a lot of this work as well, right? And many other ulama and scholars and tulab ilm, they go and verify all of this. So for you to come and ask us, we would be more than happy, as I'm doing, to show you the actual evidences. So don't go online and trust any website that you go to. Rather, come and ask, and when you find out that you were wrong, don't have so much pride. Be humble enough to be like, my bad. I just looked up some random website that I don't know who made, and some Shia reference to it that I never looked at a book or who's the one that compiled it, and I trusted it, and I made assumptions, out of me, right? When you assume, it makes a right. But
You about to say that word?
nah,
You
I'm
caught
not.
yourself.
I'm not. But you know what I'm saying.
All right.
All right.
Yeah,
go
we got
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
All right. I wanted to ask you about this time. I have not shared this with anyone, but I've seen other people sharing it. So I just wanted to ask you real quick. Now, my actual question is just about the embryology and how you would translate these passages. But Yeah, since everyone's sharing this,
Who's everyone?
a bunch of people.
Oh,
You see people sharing this. Muslims who don't like you and Christians who don't
And
like
there are
you.
Muslims that don't like.
There are some.
Very weird.
So, my main question was just: is that Photoshop? Is that
Excellent.
Is that
Okay,
Photoshop?
so let me explain it to you.
Okay.
First off, you want me to read it? Or?
I'll go ahead and read it.
Go ahead.
So, someone named Mansour Maliki, who doesn't seem to like you, or me, he doesn't like me either, said, so to be absolutely, he's talking to you, he says, so to be absolutely clear, you agree that jizya should be imposed on all disbelievers, and if they refuse, they should be fought and their women and children enslaved. And you replied, at least according to this.
Sure.
Again, I don't know, Photoshop. You could post.
I got you.
You could post them. I mean, you could ask me, David, do you like mashed potatoes? I say yes, and then you could switch the question to,
Happens all the
David,
time.
do you torture puppies or something like that?
You
Right?
put your puppy.
No. See,
I'm glad
it's
you don't.
Photoshop, right?
I agree.
So he asks, do you agree that jizya should be imposed on all disbelievers, and if they refuse, they should be fought and their women and children enslaved? The response here is, of course, and I have already made all of this clear in my durus, but you never reached out to ask me. So the relevant questions would be, is that Photoshopped or something, or is there something else in the discussion that would clarify that? Keep in mind, saw this a while back, did not share it with one person because I was like, I know I'll be talking to you, so I might as well ask first.
Okay. Good. First thing, there's been a clarification posted on Twitter. I had given up all my social media, right, which I did not respond to that personally.
You're not on social media?
I am not on social media. Even the Twitter post that you're looking at, if you go to the actual Twitter page, there's a post on there that clarifies that I am not the one who runs the Twitter page. Right? I created that Twitter page originally as Abu Kutub just to explain books. What I used to talk about is, this is the book, this is the best manuscript, this is the best tahqiq, this is the best print, this is what's coming up, this is the benefits. When the traffic picked up so much that I couldn't keep up, I gave it up, right? And there was a post posted on Twitter to clarify. Okay? So that tweet was not from me personally, it was from my Twitter account, right? And there were other things done on that Twitter account, like some tweets which I did not agree with, and we made that clarification on Twitter, right? So we're clear about that. But if you want to talk about jizya, I'd be more than happy to discuss it.
Yeah, sure. So, wait a second. So,
Go ahead.
someone who works for you and controlled this Twitter
Does not
account
work
said,
for me. Somebody who volunteered to take care of the Twitter account made that post, and as I disapproved of it, he deleted it.
So you disproved it, it got deleted.
Yes, and that's
So
why.
you do know. So just to be clear,
Yes.
because I want it clear, because people
Good,
are
I like
people
clarity.
are sharing this, right?
I know, yeah.
And I think
And we've already made it clear, but haters gonna hate, right? What you
yeah.
gonna do?
Well, I mean, keep in mind because I found this from experience too. You know, you can say something about me and I can post a response. It doesn't mean everyone pays attention to my response, right? Just like someone can come after you.
Sure.
Not all that person's followers are going to see your response. You know what I mean?
Well, I appreciate
So-
you making this clarification for me.
Okay. So, just to be clear, you do not believe that jizya should be imposed on all disbelievers, and if they refuse, they should be fought and their women and children enslaved.
No. Right? But there are ahkam and places where jizya is implemented. Not all disbelievers. For example, when you have, I'll just give you a short example, right? For example, if you have Ahlul Dhimma that don't have the protection that's been given, there is no jizya, right? If there are Ahlul Dhimma that are not living under your Sharia, there is no jizya, right? So that cannot be blanketly used in that sense.
Has that been explained to Mansour Maliki?
I don't know who Mansur Maliki is, and if he wants, like, he can come and ask me directly. He didn't, so that means there's somebody who's just out there trying to cause.
He didn't like either one of us. He said, when he posted this, he said, Uthman Farouk is actually a pathological liar. When with Christians, he'll deny things like offensive jihad and slavery, but when with Muslims, he'll affirm it. Him and David Wood are both vile. So we don't like either one of them.
So
So,
let me.
you got it.
Hold on. Let me.
He replied, pay attention.
Pay attention.
Mansour.
Mansour is a troll. Nobody cares who he is.
Is he
but I have
Muslim, right?
probably some atheists out there trying to be a troll. I don't know. Don't
Stop
care.
trolling.
Now, but just a clarification of that as well. I have never denied that there is anything called offensive jihad. Right? That's a lie from him, and if he can bring evidence, I'd be more than happy to see it. Right? I have never changed my views in front of Christians and Muslims. Everything I say is recorded. Everything I say in the masjid in front of Muslims is recorded and posted. Everything I say to you is recorded and posted. These are just haters, right? These are people of hasad, and that's why they want to. If this was somebody who wanted good for me or you, obviously they would reach out to me and you privately and ask us how we feel, and as we would explain it to him, make that public. But instead, he went and even though there was a clarification posted that this was not from me, and that tweet was immediately deleted when I saw it, even then he continued to post it because these are trolls, right? Islam has rules and regulations for defensive jihad and offensive jihad. There is rules and regulations for Ahlul Dhimma. I have a whole video that I talk about jizya. So for him to say that I changed this is just his ignorance of knowing me, right? So I'm
Okay,
glad
so
you made that clarification
Yeah.
for me.
Now, you offered to explain jizya real quick. Is there
for
a short version of it?
Sure.
Okay, what's jizya in a nutshell?
Excellent. So, as a Muslim, we do believe that we have rules and regulations that Allah has ordained upon us, and we do not enforce our religious practices on others, right? So, we have zakat, for example, right? As a Muslim, living in the Muslim state, we have zakat. Zakat goes into Baytul Mal. You know what Baytul Mal is?
What's that?
I'm here to help you, bro. No problem. I'm your sheikh, right? All right. So, the Muslim government has what kind of like what you would consider treasury, right? And in Islamic form of governments, we don't have taxes. So all you libertarians become Muslim, right? So what we do have is we have zakat that comes in from Muslims. That is a religious obligation. And that goes into Baytul Mal. And there are certain categories of people and projects that goes toward, which are lined out in the Quran and the entire books of fiqh on it. Now, we don't enforce that on non-Muslims. Right? Like here in America, for example, you pay taxes, I pay taxes, right? But as under a Muslim Khilafah, we don't have taxes. How does the government get that revenue? From Muslims, they get it through zakat. If we were to enforce zakat on non-Muslims, then this would be putting a religious obligation of Muslims on them, and we don't want to infringe on their religious rights. So they have jizya. Jizya is only given when they enjoy benefits from the Islamic government, meaning protection, police service, whatever else. Well, you look confused, you know, all up in the sky.
I'm thinking about what you just said.
Think. Ponder upon it, bro. I got you. So, jizya is they're paying into the Islamic government's functions for the services they receive. For example, in America, you pay taxes, right? I don't know which state you're in, depending how much taxes you pay, but in California, we pay a lot of taxes, right? But the government says, hey, you pay your taxes, we give you police service, we give you roads, we give you the military, we give you these protections, right? Now, as a non-Muslim living under a Muslim rule, you will get those benefits, and as you get those benefits, you will pay into the system, okay? Now, if we didn't, then it would be a hardship that would be borne only by the Muslims who would be paying zakat, and non-Muslims would not be paying anything to the government's functions. Right? If, and as it has been during times of Islamic history, that those functions are not delivered, jizya is not taken. There have been times, like during the time of Umar ibn Khattab, where jizya was returned, right? So this is their taxes that they pay into the services they receive, which I think you would think is fair.
Yeah, well, the reason I was
The reason, go ahead.
a little inquisitive there. So I was thinking, so Muhammad said, my livelihood is under the shade of my spear, and he who disobeys my orders will be humiliated by paying jizya. And so he describes it as humiliation. So Muhammad describes it as humiliation. One second, I just wanted to quote Ibn Kathir on the same issue. So Ibn Kathir, paying jizya.
Which ayah are we looking at?
This would be on 929. Paying jizya is a sign of kufr and disgrace. Allah said, until they pay the jizya, if they do not choose to embrace Islam with willing submission, in defeat and subservience, and feel themselves subdued, disgraced, humiliated, and belittled. Therefore, Muslims are not allowed to honor the people of the Dhimma or elevate them above Muslims, for they are miserable, disgraced, and humiliated.
Sure.
Muslim recorded from Abu Hurairah that the Prophet said, do not initiate the salam to the Jews and Christians, and if you meet any of them in a road, force them to its narrowest alley.
Sure.
And then he goes on to, I know the Pact of Umar is disputed as far as whether that was actually from Umar, I think so. But he goes on to quote the Pact of Umar. The one where he gives the conditions of, for the Dhimmi contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. You're mentioning a lot of things and you're kind of going forward instead of
Well,
addressing
the only issue there was you're portraying it as, hey, it's just payment for services. Whereas they're describing it as you're humiliated, you're disgraced, you're belittled. If you see a Christian or a Jew, shove them down this alleyway.
That's got nothing to do with jizya itself, but we'll talk about that as well. First thing, can I look at the hadith now that you're trying to frequently trying to get over? Even its famous websites, man. You gotta buy yourself some books.
This is directly from the Darussalam edition of Sahih al-Bukhari.
What you're looking up where? This is not from Darussalam. That's a lie. Hold on. This here is not Darussalam's
I
Ibn
personally
Kathir.
guarantee you.
Ibn
No,
Kathir.
that's not Ibn Kathir.
Oh,
That's the
okay,
Hadith.
okay.
That's Hadith. That's Sahih al-Bukhari.
Excellent, Bukhari. Okay, let's clarify that because you were pointing at Ibn Kathir, right? So,
Yeah, when I quoted Ibn Kathir, I quoted Muhammad first.
Gotcha.